How to access S.M.A.R.T values when using RAID and Intel Matrix storage. We have a RAID 5 array using Intel Matrix storage, i.e. a motherboard-based RAID. One of the hard drives has started to make a grinding noise, and the array is currently rebuilding. We'd like to interrogate the S.M.A.R.T values on the Seagate drives, but for some reason none of the programs we've tried have been able to read the S.M.A.R.T values. Is there any technique for reading the S.M.A.R.T values out so we can tell which drive is on its last legs?
In my brief reading, it looks like this may be a common issue with that controller. Try giving S.M.A.R.T tools a shot. It's supposed to have some experimental support for the Matrix controller. The 4th of February 2011, we added experimental support for disks behind Intel Matrix RAID driver on Windows. Please report your test results to the S.M.A.R.T tool support mailing list. Use dev.c/S.M.I.0x as a device name to access S.M.A.R.T info of individual disks, e.g. like this. S.M.A.R.T.tool.exe, a dev.c/S.M.I.00.
HDDN works great with Intel Matrix RAID controller. Essentially, it's a GUI for S.M.A.R.T tool.
If the Intel Matrix Storage Manager doesn't tell you about the drive's S.M.A.R.T status, then perhaps, as well, just use Seagate's bootable ctools utility to diagnose the Seagate drives. You simply have to set the BIOS from a RAID to RAID, and the drive should be visible as individual drives to the bootable ctools media. Once you've used it to diagnose the drive, turn the RAID back on in the BIOS and you should be back the way you were. RAID configuration will remain. At that point you can plan to swap the faulty drive, if needed.
Argus Monitor shows S.M.A.R.T info for drives behind Intel Matrix RAID controller. Version 1.8.17, January 6, 2011. Support for Intel Matrix RAID controllers, X chipsets.
S.M.A.R.T tools worked well for me. I have an ASUS motherboard with Intel ICH10 a RAID controller. 2 of the HDS are in a RAID 1 configuration, and another 2 are regular non-RAID setup. I can query any of them with S.M.A.R.T tools. The command line interface is pretty easy to use and can be scripted easily. This shows you the list of devices it detected. In my case, the 5 dev.c/S.M.I.0x devices corresponds to the various SATA ports on the motherboard. You can query any of them easily. ID number 5 and number 198 are of particular interest. There was an interest Google study that indicated they are somewhat good indicators as to when the drive is about to fail.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.